Jim Larranaga, Jim Calhoun. Now let's meet the 10 men who will start the game on the floor for George Mason and UConn.
Marcus Williams, guard, University of Connecticut, political science.
Denham Brown, guard, UConn, political science.
Hilton Armstrong, forward, UConn, political science.
Josh Boone, power forward, UConn, psychology.
Rudy Gay, small forward, UConn Huskies, undecided major.
Tony Scan, point guard, George Mason University, communications major.
Lamar Butler, shooting guard, George Mason University, communications major.
Byron Campbell, guard, George Mason University, favorite class is communications.
John Lewis, power forward, George Mason University, sports management major.
Will Thomas, forward, George Mason, sports management major.
This game brought to you on HDTV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media.
The ability here, I think, key as you start rebounding, something that has escaped them during the tournament. Shot blocking by UConn to change the way they score around the rim. And, of course, this team used that speed and power game.
The officiating trio, I beg your pardon, Scott Thornley, Tony Green, and Zelton Steed, the three men who will call this game. First meeting ever between the guys in green and gold from George Mason, located in Fairfax, about 20 miles away from the arena, and the UConn Huskies. Ironically, UConn has played in this building 11 times. They are 10-1, 5 of those games in NCAA play, 4 victories over Georgetown. This is their home court. The only loss was to Maryland. The George Mason Patriots have played here. This is their 5th time. They are 2-2. They played here earlier this season when they knocked off American by 40 points.
And Vern Lundquist, George Mason goes.
In the hands of Marcus Williams, he has been superb in 3 victories thus far. Now they've got Butler on Denham Brown. They're doubling Josh Boone underneath. Now Rudy Gay following Campbell on him. 10 on the shot clock. Williams with the jumper off the front rim. Rebound in the hands of Will Thomas, number 34.
And Vern, that was a terrific set defensively, a little disorganized. We'll keep an eye on Marcus Williams, see how his mobility impacts on this game.
Had a career high 26 points the other night in the overtime win over Washington. Here's the turnaround jumper. Jai Lewis has not had a good tournament thus far.
And he's going to have problems trying to out-jump the bigs, and they're going to get support on each side. Armstrong with the open look. A little nylon, but a big fella.
Hilton Armstrong gets the first 2 in this game. Now it'll be following Campbell, who brings it up, number 42. And he's picked up by Rudy Gay.
This is a high low. We'll get Lewis out. He can make threes. You can see the hug outside by Josh.
Tony Skin, long one off the mark. Rebound, Josh Boone. Hilton Armstrong wants it in the low post.
And they stay straight up this trip.
Jumper, nice and soft.
It's going to be difficult if they keep pounding it in. They've got weak side rebounding position.
UConn off to a 4-0 start. This is a direct contrast to the way George Mason started their victory over Wichita State. They hit 3 threes to open that game to go up 9-0, and they never trailed.
Williams looks mobile out on Butler.
Will Thomas, and another miss. Ball chased down by Tony Skin. Butler for 3. Off the mark. Denham Brown to the rebound.
And they have to come up with everything loose, George Mason. Good hustle by Skin.
Kick it right side, Denham Brown. This is a UConn team that in 3 games has hit 47% from the floor. Armstrong the dish, quick hands. Tony Skin, Williams is back, and Skin will wisely bring it back outside.
And a nice job in the backcourt there by Marcus Williams. How about Armstrong putting it on the deck? We saw him do that the other night. Probably should have taken it himself.
Penalty skin sat out a 1-game suspension in the first game of this tournament because he slugged an opposing player from hospital in the groin at the end of that game, and there's a turnover.
And right now, lacking a little composure on the offensive end, and how about that? Rudy Gay steps out. You got the power brokers inside, and the wing people over the years have been extraordinary. Think of Allen and Hamilton, for example.
Do you get early on, we've only played 3 minutes and 15 seconds, a sense of nerves?
Well, Butler had that open look, taking their time on offense, but not ending up. There's a good power move and a grab.
And a foul.
Score the goal. Well, they want to pound it inside. Jim Larranaga telling us early in the year, they had a meeting, said, let's pound it in, let the touches begin low. They are very unselfish. Really, nobody goes down to help out either by UConn, and the ability to knock shots down. Gay is something else away from the rim. He can also put it on the deck.
Jai Lewis is at the free throw line. He has had an ineffective tournament thus far. You saw 4 points. He's the leading scorer for this team. They do have 5 men in double figures, and Jai Lewis is on top of that list with 14 points. And there's the old-fashioned three. It's a 6-3 game.
And a little pressure. This could be dangerous. Give open shots to guys like this.
Rudy Gay misses badly. Here's Lamar Butler. Jeff Adrian's on the floor now, number 4. First sub in the ball game, following Campbell. In and out. He hit his first 3 the other night.
And that's their game, though. They'll take the early one if it's a good one. Now, you mentioned Adrian brings a lot of pizzazz to the floor. Not a good pass.
Butler, Williams back, reverse, not there. And the rebound in the hands of Denham Brown.
Nice job by Boone. Look at the alley-oop, a little too deep. It may have been Lewis trying to take the legs away on the cut.
It was Jai Lewis, the 6'7", 275-pounder. Decided height advantage for UConn here with 2 men 6'9", 1 6'10".
And the mobility. I mean,
yes.
The big guys can get down the floor. That is a difficult task for Lewis. Jimmy Larranaga is going to have to spell him, and they don't have much size, but they have decent rotation. They'll come in with Sammy Hernandez.
Rudy Gay at the line is 9 of 11 in the first 3 games. Rashad Anderson, the hero of the overtime win, is on the floor now. Highest scoring 6th man in the NCAA. He had a 3-pointer with 1.8 seconds left to send the game against Washington into overtime. And Boone is going to sit.
And Vern, they probably won't have to guard Anderson early. He sort of heats up late. When it's on the table, he grabs it all. A croupier.
Craig Austria is also on the floor, the freshman, number 24, with 24 starts this year. So Marcus Williams gets a rest. Rudy Gay hits 2.
Just keep going inside into the game.
Gabe Norwood is on.
And a guy that can put it on the deck too, and the kickouts won't knock a 3 down.
Following Campbell, Gabe Norwood, number 5. His dad is an assistant coach to Joe Paterno at Penn State. And he just does miss.
Is he athletic, though? They run that little back screen lob.
Will Thomas calling for it in the low post. He's being fronted by Hilton Armstrong. George Mason, very slow start. They're 1 of 8.
And it's tough to play a lefty in the box there if you're unaccustomed. It's a little strange look, and they take advantage. The roll to the lane, the knockdown. Well, he has some spunk as well in that low post area.
Will Thomas, a sophomore from Baltimore. All 5 starters for this George Mason team are from the Maryland area. Here's Armstrong at the other end, off the glass and good.
Now, Lewis is not an elevator. That's the difficulty. He's going to have to root him out a couple of steps. He's not going to block shots.
Following Campbell is at point guard. Armstrong, good start, 3 of 3.
Same play, that little screen on the high post by Thomas.
They give it off to Campbell, spin move, the dish underneath. 3-second call.
Interesting beginning because the power guys are getting the touches. A little kiss by Hilton with room service.
George Mason, an 11 seed. Missouri, the lowest seed to ever make it to a regional final. They lost back in 2002. The only team that has advanced is the '86 LSU team, and congratulations to John Brady And that LSU bunch that is in the Final Four, also Ben Howland and UCLA. Third spot to be decided here. And then Villanova and Florida playing later.
Now, how about that power game? A little spark by Adrian off the bench. He and Nelson give him a lift up front when they come in.
Jeff Adrian, freshman out of Brookline, Massachusetts. Now here's Jordan Carter on the floor, number 2. Had a big three-point shot the other night, only the 4th three he's made all year. And Jay Lewis is going to be fouled by Adrian. That's going to put Jai Lewis at the line for his second free throw.
And I like the call. It was late, but it was. He got a little jab on the elbow and wrist area. And as we noted earlier, he backs his guy in and doesn't elevate, so he's got to freeze him. And it's tough for big guys sometimes against a smaller center, although Adrian's a better match for him.
Jai Lewis will shoot. Jim Calhoun, a Hall of Fame coach, but obviously they need some help on their free throw defense. In the 3 tournament games that they have played and up to the first 6 minutes in this game, opponents now against UConn are hitting 44 of 50.
Well, when things were bad, I always blamed an assistant coach, but you can't blame them on that.
No? Okay.
Find fault, but not there. Hernandez now in, that rotation up front. Gets Lewis a nice blow here.
Sammy Hernandez, number 50, freshman from Florida. Jumper, Rashad Anderson off the glass. Adrian, great job of getting position on Sammy Hernandez.
Well, that's their game, really. They have not rebounded as well as expected during the tournament, but not a good delivery by Anderson. It was a meaningless jumper, so he wasn't concentrating.
Right. Here's Gabe Norwood, number 5. Butler following Campbell, the point guard, number 42. Little pick and roll.
Nice job defensively by UConn on that.
Back to Campbell. He looks inside for Will Thomas. They got Hilton Armstrong with a little F.W. Woolworth.
You can see the great job. Little nickel dimer, huh? They clear one out with a nice job checking him out and getting inside position, but they don't care of the other.
Now, what a pleasure for Jim Calhoun. He reloads and all he does is sit on Rudy Gay, Hilton Armstrong, and Denham Brown.
Well, just a talent-laden team. We talked about that depth. They have a lot of energy late in games for that reason.
Josh Boone instead of Hilton Armstrong. He was forward.
Look how they get up to harass the passer.
Here's Butler. Tries to penetrate, kicks it back outside. Gabe Norwood, shots aren't falling. Loose ball picked up by Thomas.
And that's what they have to keep running. Any of the junk, the loose change, put it in their pocket.
George Mason, 2 of 10. Here's Campbell, penetrates. Rudy Gay is right with him. Ball is tipped out. Jumper. That one goes.
Well, they worked hard. 2 offensive rebounds, and they're forcing Butler to put it on the deck. They're trying to take away his 3-point game.
Lamar Butler, 5th-year senior from Fort Washington, Maryland. Here's Rudy Gay.
Step back, huh? Oh, he can elevate. Anytime anybody is smaller, he plumb bobs with that elbow.
Rudy Gay, who played high school ball at Archbishop Spalding in Baltimore. And over the course of his last 2 years there, he went head-to-head against Will Thomas of George Mason. There's the jumper from Hernandez.
Not too bad. Had a range by the big fella, 38% from 3.
And it cuts the margin to 5. There's Boone calling for underneath. And a foul.
There might be following underneath. Campbell tried to help out. Terrific post pass. Connecticut has not played as well as expected. They've been in and out, but for some moments when they gather themselves, of course, Gay making outside shots certainly helps the cause, but their power game has its impact, and you can see how uncomfortable in a way defensively Boone is away from the rim guarding Hernandez.
Josh Boone gets the first. Well, we mentioned Rudy Gay and Will Thomas went head-to-head a total of 7 times in high school, and Rudy Gay's team lost Archbishop Spalding 6 times to Mount St. Joseph's and Will Thomas.
That was brought up yesterday by
yes,
Will
it
Thomas,
was.
wasn't it?
Will Thomas, we said, you played any of these guys? He said, yeah.
One guy. Well, they know one another. I think that's why games are so difficult anymore. There's awe and respect, but they know they can play with them.
Hernandez. Lamar Butler looks inside for Jai Lewis. He was being shielded. Oh, he did, yes. And one.
And Vern, that's just a great post pass. They eliminate help on the lob to the box. Just good execution on the offensive end. Look at the big fella gathering, lumbering, attacking with some strength.
Jai Lewis. Ball tip, Rudy Gay. 2-on-1. The give and go, and Gay has to save it. Gets it in the hands of Adrian. Josh Boone did pick up his second foul, so he says.
And that was really a nice play. They didn't complete it, but unselfish play. Gay giving it up and getting the return. Look at the mismatch with Adrian. He wants to take Butler down low.
Now they get back, and Butler picks up Denham Brown. Marcus Williams, beauty, finds Adrian in low.
He does see things. You know, always the head up over his right shoulder as he dribbles it with the left. Good cut, setting up Adrian.
Tony Skinn and Gabe Norwood on the backcourt now. Butler on the wing. Jai Lewis and Sammy Hernandez. That's the 5 and the 4 for the Patriots of George Mason.
And what they've done well is they're high-low. You can't get weak side help. You have a long distance to go. Here they come again.
Hernandez way up in the air. And there was Denham Brown out jumping Jai Lewis for the rebound. And the jumper at the other end.
Look who's in the mix there. Adrian doing a nice job.
Hill ball, possession arrow, George Mason. Ed Nelson's going to come on now. Gives them physical minutes when he's on the floor. He'll replace Adrian. And Rashad Anderson is also back.
Well, what Nelson does, he energizes him. He's an aggressive performer, can stand his guy up. I think he'll be matched up with Lewis down low. He'll try and root him out from the box. The further away, the further the distance he has to the 10.
Tony Skinn brings it up. Butler. Jai Lewis. Anderson makes a pass at the double. Back outside to Butler. Whoa!
Well, you can't help off of him. That's the one guy, and Anderson's got size, but he can ring the bell out there.
Butler's nickname is Butter, as you might expect.
And he's spreading it around right now, into the zone right now by Mason.
Armstrong, Anderson, great look, in and out. Rebound, Thomas. That's 4 rebounds for Will Thomas. Butler gives it up to Tony Skinn. Anderson out on him.
And this is a better job. Thomas has got to be mobile when Lewis gets the ball on the box. That's how they set him up. No weak side help.
Jai Lewis guarded by Ed Nelson.
Sounds like to pay for their dinner, those two. Oh, goodness. Speaking of dinner, the Butter, when you help low, you're going to pay for it against this kid. He's been smiling all week. He's enjoying the best of times. And when you stick it in that deep, it really helps your post people.
Connecticut on 2-point field goals, 8 of 9. They've yet to connect from 3. Here's Marcus Williams. Off the dribble, there was Jai Lewis. And the rebound, Gabe Norwood.
Terrific job by Williams getting in the lane.
Butler in the corner. Skinn, ball fake. Shot, no. And Williams the only person there to clear the rebound. The crowd ready to explode on that one. And this is a lot of folks here from George Mason. There's Rudy Gay. And another rebound. That's 5 now for Will Thomas.
He has really played well under the rim. Oh, not that kind of pass. That's tough. That'll change your voice an octave or 2. That kind of delivery. Too much skin on this one by Tony. A one-handed, oh my goodness, welcome to the dance.
Well, the concept was fine. The execution was a little
faulty,
a little too aggressive. Norwood will sit. Following Campbell is back. There's Jim Larranaga, known for his whistle, among other things. Jim Larranaga from the Bronx. Played his high school ball at Archbishop Malloy, and then his college ball at Providence.
Penetration again, too easy. He's got 2 good looks and have them converted them. But getting back to his whistle, he learned his mother wouldn't open the door in the Bronx unless he whistled. She was afraid of who might have been on the other side. That's how he learned how to whistle. And it drives Lewis crazy. He told us yesterday.
John Lewis says, we said, what do you think of his whistle? He said, annoying.
And you know, if you annoy the big, look at this
look.
Look.
My goodness, goaltend.
Too much weak side help. Armstrong was over too far, and you can't recover. And this is the deployment by Jim Larranaga's guy. Look right in there, all those circles. The ability to find and catch is one part, but you don't go unless you're needed on the defensive end. Armstrong did.
Hear the whistle?
I sure did. Well, that'd get a bunch of dogs running home, huh?
Skip pass. Foul called. Armstrong to go to the free throw line.
It might be Butler. Let's take a look. Let's see who they give. No. Yep. Yes.
It is Butler. It is his first. Well, Jim Larranaga, his wife Liz, their two boys, one of whom is here, John, the other watching over in Italy, Jay, who is playing professionally there. He's played for the last 10 years, and he phones in a scouting report to his dad. UConn leading by 2, now 3. There's John. We're used to seeing him on the cell with his brother Jay. Now Jay has a game in Italy, and as soon as the game is over, he's going to be on the phone and will be watching the game from Italy.
And of course, some of the scouting things, the spacing, get them in the air, all of those suggestions for Jim by his son. And he said, get the pen. Dad, you're not writing this down. He had to get the pencil and paper. Not too bad when you get help from a distance.
Ed Nelson in the lane. 21-18, 8:04 to go. Fowler and Campbell. You know what his nickname is? Shaq. He was a center when he was in junior high school. So Shaq Campbell.
It's stuck, huh?
Yes. There's the help coming from Denham Brown, and he gets the rebound on the miss by Jai Lewis.
And they run the floor. Even though Nelson doesn't get it, he's in position. He makes Lewis work to get back.
Jumper, Armstrong lost it. Following Campbell, he's got Tony Skin, finds it. The reverse blocked by Armstrong, out of bounds. And it will be George Mason's ball. They trail by 3. .7:31 to go first half, 21-18, UConn leading. Rebounds, Bill, Raftery, fairly even.
Like, you know, Vernon, it's a numbers game. The statistics there tell you that they've been effective, Mason on the glass, but the rotation of the bench by UConn, they plan to wear you out. That's why the bigs run the floor, try and drag the opponent's bigs down the floor, and eventually you may foul reaching because you're fatigued.
Campbell finds Butler and Tony Skin. They're joined by Jai Lewis and Will Thomas, the 5 on the floor for George Mason. Patriots out of the Colonial Athletic Association. Here's Butler, the dish, offensive foul.
They left his feet, great idea. That's the speed he has to put it on the deck and blow by it. This is just great defensive presence too. We mentioned Nelson comes in and does a lot of things. Terrific read, he gets a blow now. Adrian coming in with that rotation with Lamar Butler. That's damaging. The second, have to rest him a little bit and save him.
Now let's check the 5 on the floor. Marcus Williams and Jeff Adrian on the floor, along with Rashad Anderson, Rudy Gay, and Hilton Armstrong.
And they continue that 1-2-2. A lot of planning. The middle has been open, very soft. We've seen Williams get in the middle, and they've been able to flash as well.
Armstrong comes out. Under 7 to go. And a 3-point ball game. UConn and George Mason. The tip doesn't go after Armstrong's miss. And Tony Skin. He's got Campbell right side. Back to Skin, spot up 3.
How about that? He averages 4 rebounds a game. Gave it up unselfishly. There were a little return pass and then the knockdown. But aggressiveness on the glass, so essential in that trick.
We are tied.
UConn did a nice job getting it to the shore. Look at this duck in. This is just too easy. He's got to step up defensively.
First field goal in the last 5 minutes for UConn. They break the tie. and go back up by 2.
Well, if you're sitting on the UConn bench, the last couple of trips have been sound. They've got it to the right spot. Didn't complete the prior one, but execution's been good.
This has not been an easy venture for UConn this year as a #1 seed. They trailed Albany by 16 by 12 in the first game. Rebound Armstrong. Outlet pass Rudy Gay. And he missed again. But Adrian doesn't.
It's amazing. And just to catch the ball by Gay was extraordinary. But once again, he ran. The 4-man Adrian ran. And just a little too many white shirts.
Jeff Adrian, the freshman, perfect 5 of 5 here in the first half. Mentioned UConn's deficit to Albany. Then they had that tough tussle with Kentucky. And they were down to Washington by 10 the other night before winning overtime. Will Thomas.
How about that? They took away his left hand, the drop step. He has a great ability to protect the ball with that shoulder, the left side.
Thomas has 6. Gabe Norwood guarding Rashad Anderson out on the wing.
You got to be in his shirt. This kid is a catch and shoot devil. Oh my goodness, can he convert?
That is the first 3 for UConn in the ball game, and they're up by 5. And the partisans from Stores standing in unison behind the UConn bench. 4.5 to go, first half.
Mason's done a nice job using clock, but running their stuff.
Skin switches to the left hand. The putback not there, out of bounds, touch last by Rashad Anderson.
Well, earlier we talked about it. You take away this side, Vern, a great job. He drop steps, protects, and on the other end, you know from the scouting report, even though you're in a zone, latch onto him, caress him, get up under him.
Norwood out. It's Tony Skin, Campbell, Butler back with the 2 fouls, and Jai Lewis along with Thomas. Following Campbell in the low post.
Nice little stagger screen.
Finds Jai Lewis, J-A-I.
Jai, giving some Jai there, huh?
Up and under, got it.
How about that little mixed bag? What a big fella. Quick feet.
And the steal by Skin. Doesn't have numbers. In the corner, Butler back to Skin.
Now look at the bigs are coming down. They did a wilt. They stayed back just to make sure. Took the night off. That is their lazy boy.
Oh my goodness. Outside to Campbell. Now Will Thomas is energized. Here's Butler for 3. In and out. Rebound, Jai Lewis. Goes up strong. Ball is stripped. Ed Bradley will do that piece tonight on 60 Minutes. We all look forward to that. Tiger Woods. Here's Jai Lewis at the free throw line. Last foul was called on Marcus Williams. His first, number 5. And here is Jai Lewis.
He's so big and takes up so much area. It really is tough to get around him. A little slice. He has to come out. He just put his hand up.
Moving a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, he is.
(28-27). Jim Larranaga said yesterday, we want to be in the game at halftime. If we are there at the break, we have a chance. Jim Larranaga.
That's what he said. Give us a chance if you're there. Well, he's got his kids enjoying this, playing easily. Skin with a great tip here.
And he finds it. He's got a man underneath. It's Thomas. Armstrong with a foul. Thomas goes to the line. And George Mason will have a chance to take the lead.
And Vern, did you see them go pick him up as Thomas hits the deck? Right here, look at the speed, and everybody expecting him almost to save it. He doesn't go out of bounds. The giveaway by Armstrong, just terrific, solid hustle. That's so essential in their game plan. Anything on the deck, they've got to get a hand in, come up with it.
Now, Will Thomas is not a proficient free throw shooter. You couldn't tell it by that stroke.
As you said.
51% over the course of the year. And he has a chance to give George Mason the lead.
The officials the other night tried to calm him down because he's so excited. He didn't do anything wrong. It was just he gets immersed in the game. You can see solid contributions early here.
A 6-0 Patriot lead. George Mason up for the first time. I can hear the whistle from the head coach of George Mason.
Williams is good getting in the lane and using the dribble. They settle for the long jumper. How about that? Get a towel and wipe the ball off. Ha! Oh my goodness, does that come down wet? He never could play the old church league.
Rudy Gay moves the pepper shaker. 2:40 to go. Right side, Skin.
Nice hands.
Tip. Gay. 6 turnovers now for George Mason. Here's Rashad Anderson. Penetrates back to Williams. What a look he has.
How about that combo there? By the experience, having been there before, Rashad Anderson doesn't force the shot, use the dribble drive, sets up his backcourt partner.
Quick 6 for UConn.
Got to go down here, see what he can do.
Back to Campbell on the floor. Reach-in foul.
A little nickel dimer, but the long jump shot, ball movement, they've been able to get good things, occasionally not converting, but just solid dribble to the gap, get 2 to play 1, and a little nylon by the lefty.
That's going to send Fowler and Campbell to the line. His name Nigerian, and it means walk with glory. A nice start.
And this whole team is walking with glory. This is just a great story. We met the president today. He said the campus is alive.
Here's Campbell. Coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Clark and Seth will preview today's Minneapolis Regional Final, Florida and Villanova. We'll talk with UCLA's Ben Howland and Cedric Bozeman about making it to the Final Four. And we'll have another Singular Naismith update. That's all coming up on Singular at the half.
A little full court pressure now. They won't gamble, but it does open up shooters if you're not careful.
Adrian finds Gay. There's the entry pass to Nelson.
What a great play by Gay. And Nelson's strength. You know he's been in the weight room. He hasn't said no at the cafeteria either, Vern, but takes up so much room. He's run the floor beautifully. Even if he hasn't caught the ball or been given the opportunity, he just closes on his guy, seals him on his back, and then with some power, elevates.
Ed Nelson began his collegiate career at Georgia Tech, transferred to UConn, sat out, now a senior from Fort Lauderdale. And he's essentially the 10th man on this very, very deep squad.
Well, that's the reason Jim Calhoun can go and substitute regularly. If he doesn't like something or he wants them to get a little bit of a blow, he can turn to some good quality numbers.
A 9-2 UConn run after they had lost the lead for the first time in the ballgame. Tony Skin.
Wide open.
Campbell. In and out.
They do some nice things. Little bump and the step back.
90 seconds to go first half.
Straight up man again. And by the way, Williams' ankle looks pretty good, I would say. He's done some nice things. Doesn't seem to be laboring at all.
Well, you talked to him ever so briefly during the layup line, and he said it was okay.
And as you said, though, kids would just say that, but he certainly does look good. They've done a nice job getting him ready.
Here's Denham Brown, jumper for 3. Oh, boy.
How about the bounce in the square? This kid from Maui on has just turned it up. Thin, trim, puts it on the deck as well to complement his outside shooting.
12-2 run causes Jim Larranaga to call timeout. Now, Bill Raftery, you and I have been around for in excess of 20 of these tournaments. This has been one of the best. UCLA defeating Memphis, fewest points in a regional final since '73. The shot clock installed in the mid-'80s. And LSU back in the Final Four. They look so good in their win over Texas.
They sure did. And speaking of so good, Vern, this is the best I've seen UConn play in recent memory. They are very coordinated, focused, solid on both ends of the floor. And right now, very important you get at least to the free throw line. if you're George Mason. So that means inside or dribble drive.
Tony Skinn brings it back outside. Gabe Norwood is back on the floor. Shot clock at 10 and another turnover. Here's Rudy Gay. These are precious moments now. And a hold is going to be called on Tony Skinn. Precious moments, I say, for
absolutely
for George Mason, because they had the lead, and this is such a talented UConn team that they're in danger of letting this thing get away from them in the last 2 minutes of the half. Timeout called, UConn.
Hey, Wolfie, if you don't have anything, come back with a shot of Lewis, if you would, because if he's out of the game. If he's in, forget about it. He was not in. I don't think he's coming.
(40-31) UConn, 31.4 to go. Jai Lewis on the floor. He is joined by Will Thomas, Fowler and Campbell, Gabe Norwood, and Tony Skinn. And Jim Calhoun's bunch is going to have Ed Nelson, Jeff Adrian, Rashad Anderson. Denham Brown's going to get back to the bench, and Marcus Williams and Rudy Gay on the floor.
And Lewis had to get a rest, and that's all the design of UConn. Run the bigs, make them pay for it late.
That was only the 16th foul on George Mason, so non-shooting foul. Shot clock is off.
Big stop here, I think, for George Mason, just for confidence.
A 12-2 UConn run. Now 10 seconds to go. Oh, boy. You don't leave him that open.
Just a little screen. That was lazy defense. Not alert.
That could be a dagger, but
they got to score it,
and a foul.
Good call, too.
Yes.
That's the correct call. Boy, what a heads-up play. Going wire to wire, and Jim Calhoun, who's been very much under control. George Mason, look at this. Just that move left. Nelson just got up into him. A little kiss by Campbell.
Jim Calhoun was as agitated in the first half of the Washington game as I can remember, and was dangerously close. He got a technical. He was close to being tossed from the game. He's been on his
best behavior.
A behavior tonight.
Yeah,
today.
I think he's been around enough to analyze himself, and I'm sure some guys that he's close to, when he's involved with his team, just coaching them, they play. Once in a while, he gets frequently he gets frustrated with the officials and carries it to some lengths.
I wonder how you were going to define once in a while. It wouldn't fit in the song. Three-pointer, Fowler and Campbell.
You don't want to foul the challenge.
Wasn't bad, he hit the backboard. A 15-5 UConn run, however. George Mason climbed out of a hole. They took a 1-point lead at 29-28, and then UConn lit the flame, and the Huskies played well. Let's go to Mike Jaminski. Mike?
Thanks, Vern. Coach, a small lineup at the end got you back into this game, played well. Is that something you consider going into in the second half?
Well, I may have to. Big guys are really, they said, what do you want me to do, Coach? I said, block their shots, because as you know early, they're big kids, Thomas particularly, were really scoring inside early. So we need to show up our defense a little bit and take a little bit of shot selection.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Vern, back to you.
All right, Mike. 43-34. We'll send you to Greg in New York after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching our 25th Road to the Final Four. We're set for the second half. Statistically, here's the way it breaks down. Take a look at UConn's shooting percentage, 57%. Over the course of a full season, only one team has shot more than 50% against George Mason. That was Wake Forest in a loss.
And they went down. The next 4 minutes are the biggest of their basketball lives. How they come out of the gate and how they perform, because the numbers of UConn, Nelson, Adrian, able to have some impact. Adrian, 5 for 5, 13 minutes, 10 points, all quality, screening, finding holes, offensive rebounding, power into the goal, taking advantage, particularly against the zone where there isn't a checkout.
And let's check in with Mike Jaminski.
Thank you, Vern. I talked to Jim Larranaga coming out of the tunnel. He specifically mentioned that 55% shooting number. It's got to come down. He thought his team was way too passive in the first half. They've got to pick up their intensity.
All right, thank you, Mike. 20 minutes away from the Final Four for one of these teams. UConn has been there twice. They won it both times they got there in 1999 and 2004. George Mason, of course, has now established its first 3 wins ever in NCAA play. So their goal, the first ever berth in the Final Four.
And right now, I think you're going to find a lot about UConn, too. Did they have a smell of victory? Are they going to go after this team and continue this excellent play?
Here's Rudy Gay.
They're trying to get the high-low going.
Armstrong, help comes from Butler, who playing with 2 fouls. And a hell ball possession arrow, George Mason.
It looks like he's hurt, too, holding his leg, Armstrong. See how he responds, grabbing the back of his calf.
43-34.
And right here, they go up for it, and it's a clean. It gets a little heavy underneath, but solid play, and that's what they have to continue, coming up with the loose balls. Mason.
Jai Lewis to Butler, back inside. Denham Brown looks to help on the dribble. There it is, Lewis up and under.
How quick are his feet? Really set him up, and he's ambling going back as well, Lewis. Terrific move.
43-36. George Mason, bobbled the ball. Gets it back, Rudy Gay. And the skin goes out as the ball is in the hands of Marcus Williams. Williams showing no effect from the gimpy ankle.
And Lewis is really hurting. They're going to take him out.
There's Rudy Gay, perfect.
Lead nose over Campbell, plenty of room to knock it down.
Jai Lewis limping as he comes back down to establish a low post presence. Sammy Hernandez getting ready to come in for the next dead ball. Here's Butler.
He's on the floor using, right? And Armstrong with Thomas looking sniffy to try to help out on the post.
Left side. UConn with 1 block in the first half. This is a UConn team that led the country in block shots, almost 10 per game. There's the turnaround from Will Thomas, beautiful.
We mentioned George McGinnis used to palm the ball, and he does the same thing with that jump hook.
We've played just about 2 minutes. Berth in the Final Four. One of these teams will join LSU and UCLA and Villanova, Florida, play for the other spot. And there's a reach behind foul on Tony's skin. Let's take a look at Will Thomas.
Well, they've been loading up on both boxes, and here he really has to work to get free. And when you've got a great shot blocker, you've got to freeze him with his shoulder, get him up in the air a little bit. And right now, UConn defensively is letting them catch it.
Tony Skinn picks up his second foul. Jai Lewis goes right to the end of the bench to get some help from the training staff. Here's the ball inbound to Adrian. George Mason scratched back. Here's the entry pass inside. Josh Boone. Beautiful.
That's tardy defense, though. Little duck in, and right away, the ability to find people in Williams. That's his 6th assist. He hurts you in a lot of ways.
Had 8 assists the other night. He's averaging 8.5 per game this year. But he also had an unexpected 7 turnovers in that Washington game. The overtime victory. Reach-in foul. Josh Boone. That's his 3rd.
Well, the impact at the other end. Look at that, Vern. I mean, there's no way you can stop the big fella down there once he catches it that close. Nice, soft little delivery with the left hand. And he was out with the 3.
Armstrong back in. Boone limited to only 6 minutes in the first half. I mentioned the absence of shot blocking. Jim Calhoun brought that up in our conversation to begin the game, that they're averaging only 4 blocks in NCAA play. Underneath, Rudy Gay, there's a turnover. But they had only 1 in the win over Kentucky, and they have only 1 in this game.
Quick hands there by Butler. You know, part of it, Vern, too, people aren't getting in as deep against them. They're pulling up and taking away the weak side help frequently.
Brown, off the front rim, Hernandez. Gets it out in the hands of Butler. He's got Skinn left side, but 2 men back. Now they kick in the corner.
But they got him again right here. A nice cover by Armstrong.
There's Skinn. Jumper for 3, no. Will Thomas. What a nice job. The look from Campbell for 3.
And Thomas willed that rebound, Vern. Did not foul, just elevated.
Will Thomas went over the back of Denham Brown to grab the offensive board. That's 9 in the ball game, and it is key to keeping George Mason within shouting distance.
A little small change by Butler on the curl by Brown. That's their baseline run, but how about Thomas? The ability to get up and not go over the top. Now that's just gorgeous offensive basketball. Great pursuit, and then the kick out. The most dangerous time to cover the three is on that kick out.
Lamar Butler, the most enthusiastic of this group of George Mason Patriots, picks up his 3rd foul, so he won't be enjoying it quite as much. And Tony Skinn went for the steal. It was headed right toward you, and I was concerned. I don't like your ability to hang on to loose balls.
No, I'm not getting on the deck for it, I'll tell you that.
We do not call him Floor Burn Rashford. 41-47, 16:23 to go.
I'm grateful for that, by the way. And here comes a double screen and nice hand hedge by Thomas.
Brown jumper. Rebound in the hands of Gabe Norwood. Quickly to Skinn. He's got Fowler and Campbell on the right side. He looks inside in the low post. Will Thomas guarded by Hilton Armstrong.
See, now he doesn't have the weak side help because it's a small lineup. Adrian's just zoning under there, and he gets the backboard to block it on him.
6-point game. Under 16 to play. Berth in the final 4 in the balance. Armstrong.
And they're trying to take advantage of size.
Jeff Adrian harassed by the youngsters around him, but misses for the first time, and there is Thomas.
I think it might be Adrian over the top.
Will Thomas playing with great energy. It's a 6-point game.
Unfortunately, it was television. Just a great leader, and his impact on college basketball is extraordinary.
I know of no one who doesn't respect him. On the baseline, Lewis. It's blocked. That's the 2nd block in the game for Hilton Armstrong.
And you notice, Adrian, they run right to the rim, put pressure on you to balance the floor.
Rudy Gay, Armstrong, Marcus Williams, Adrian, and Rashad Anderson.
And they double and leave it open.
Oh, boy. Oh, long rebound. Gabe Norwood, who was late getting out defensively. Tony Skinn having trouble getting a handle on the ball. Now they'll settle it down. Fowler and Campbell, number 42.
He's looking for a little side pick and roll. And a little small change there.
Yep.
Gay doesn't move the feet, and they are calling it, so they've established that early in the game, and you've got to handle it.
Gay picks up his 2nd foul. 14:41 to go. UConn, we talked about their path to this spot. How about what George Mason accomplished, knocking out Michigan State and North Carolina, and then the other night handling Wichita State for these. That
just extraordinary when you think of it. Mind-boggling. What a heart these kids possess. Bunch of tough Valentines.
Tom O'Connor, the athletic director at George Mason, the entire group has so enjoyed this trip. In the lane, Skinn.
And what a nice adjustment, too, because Gay got a little skin on that penetration, able to gather himself and finish. And when you can shoot the ball like he can, you can explode by, get into the teeth, and you can just see fumbling and getting control. And a terrific finish, great concentration.
Tony Skinn from nearby started his career at Blinn Junior College in Texas. Came back to Hagerstown Community College to get his associate degree, get his grades in order, then had the problem. He was disciplined by his head coach, Jim Larranaga, because he slugged an opposing player at the end of the Hofstra game. Did not play against Michigan State. Was so concerned he sat next to Larranaga on the selection Sunday because he was afraid his act might cost him a berth in the game.
Very touching story. Great rebound again as Thomas, his impact has been extraordinary. And then the team hugged him, the family hugged him. And of course, sat out that one game and back in the good graces right now, Skinn.
Will Thomas having a sensational game.
Good Butler! Great use of the cross-court skip. Norwood on the money.
1-point ball game. 8 unanswered by the Patriots.
Tough-minded.
Anderson over Norwood. Touch last by John Lewis.
You don't want to give Anderson those looks, but you almost get the feeling it's not time for him yet. He likes the histrionics late. He gets a little blow now.
Rashad Anderson, he also gets a little advice from Jim Calhoun.
Not the lovelorn.
No, no, no.
And the smile is back. I'm looking at Butler down there. He's guarding Williams.
Bill, I don't think I've ever seen anybody enjoy the tournament more than Lamar Butler.
No,
ever.
And still play. I mean, he's serious about his playing. That's the way it should be.
He guards Marcus Williams. There's the high pick.
A nice recovery.
Williams goes left to help. Oh, Jai Lewis came out. And then he gets back too late.
That's a tough cover for the big guy. I mean, he shows once effectively. Ask him 2 or 3. It's not going to be as quick. It's not going to be as solid.
Jai Lewis picks up his second. Third team foul, non-shooting. Josh Boone, who was playing with 3 fouls, replaces Hilton Armstrong.
Must be a great feeling, you know? One All-American for another.
Right.
One Defensive Player of the Year for another. Just incredible. And the refs, they're going to straighten this out. You know, this is one of those situations, and Jim knows, they are not going to permit him to roam and incite.
Remember we said the other night that we didn't feel the hairs off the glass and not there. We did not feel the other night in the UConn-Washington game as Adrian gets the basket that crew had control of the game. To the contrary, this crew has control of this basketball game.
Exactly.
Now Jim Calhoun is leaning over and talking to Tom Jernstad and Craig Littlepage.
And that's going to be changed, I think, next year. They're not going to have guys talking during the course of the game. I mean, it's one of the, you've got your responsibility in order to administer the game.
Campbell!
How about this club? They start perking outside, Vern. It really opens it up inside.
Second tie of the ball game. Boom.
And that's solid basketball. A little slip after the screen by Boone, but how about the unselfish play? And this is what they've done since early in the year. Getting it to the big guys, they'll make good decisions either if it's a double or a single. Good ball reversal, the diagonal look for the open jumper.
Foul is on Fowler and Campbell. It's only the 4th. It's Campbell's second, 4th team foul. So non-shooting, and the UConn will inbound. We are tied at 49 with 12:08 to go.
And they're very good at scoring off the inbound.
Denham Brown, yes they are.
Once he got his dance shoes adjusted, a little trouble.
Following Campbell, joined by Norwood, Thomas, who's had a great game, Lamar Butler, Jai Lewis has it now. Brown comes and swipes at the ball, then gets back. Butler, a little fadeaway.
Oh, what a good job with the speed. Didn't make the shot. Look who's
Look who! Will Thomas.
Steps.
Oh, boy. Time call. Notched. 51-49. Marcus Williams guarded by Tony Skinn. 11:25 to go in the ball game.
A little trap out of the timeout. Just see if they can rattle him or a quick shot.
Adrian kicks it out for Gay. Spot on 3. Rebound Lewis. Over the back again. He's got Skinn. Back to Butler for 3. Yes!
What a nice job with the kickback. Great deployment and timeout by UConn.
And a timeout by UConn.
The ability to fill a lane. Norwood on the left. Put the dribble down. Taking it to the lane. Know your partner's got your back. And that nylon by Butler.
Jim Larranaga is 56-year-old, living a dream. He went to high school at Archbishop Malloy. One of his high school teammates, Gary Cavallo, told us the other night they had their senior prom at the Copacabana in downtown New York. And the lead group was, here's a basket by Adrian. The group that entertained was Dion and the Belmonts. And Cavallo said Larranaga got up and danced with Dion and the Belmonts at his senior prom. And then Jim Larranaga said, no, it was the Righteous Brothers.
Well, I wonder why or where and when. And how about the foul on the tray?
Speaking of righteous, Butler to the line.
They will not go away. A solid group of competitors to run along the baseline, anticipating the pass. And look at the spirit there by both Butler and Thomas. Just a little bit extra.
Lamar Butler is Lamar Butler Jr. His dad estimates that he's missed only 4 George Mason games in the last 5 years. 15 points, a 3-point Patriot lead.
We'll test your mettle now. Williams made a nice play on the last trip on his penetration.
Dish underneath, Rudy Gay, off the mark. Saved by Butler. No, he cannot save it. Well, UConn is playing in the regional finals. Again, each time they have gotten to the Final Four, they have won it. But they've lost, as you can see, a handful of times. Here's Gay. No again. UConn board. No again. On the floor. Jai Lewis.
Once he has it, get out of town. They got
Tony Skinn. No. He had Thomas to his right. UConn quickly.
In the last 2 trips, they didn't shoot it. They short-armed it. Gay did not get a good look. This is a test right now of their mental.
Whip it out to Marcus Williams. Way off the mark. Armstrong again off the mark and a foul called underneath.
They are starting to compete because that's where it's going to be won. The war on the glass has begun. Establishing position, carving out area. The difficulty, I think, for UConn is they have not shot the ball well. Therefore, it's tough to get that good look on the offensive glass.
15 foul on George Mason. Armstrong will go to the line. UConn perfect at the line tonight, 6 of 6. Now they're not. Win an NCAA-related prize every 35 seconds at mycokerewards.com/NCAA.
And Vern, right now, for the first time tonight, Austrie and Williams on the floor at the same time. This has served them very well in the NCAA tournament.
Connecticut back within 2 with 9:40 remaining.
It usually goes well when they get it to the post first.
Fowler and Campbell, Tony Skinn, Will Thomas, Butler, and Jai Lewis on the floor for the Patriots. Jumper. Marcus Williams clears it for UConn. A chance to tie or reclaim the lead.
Pretty.
Gay. Yes.
They ran to the spot, and terrific patience by the choreographer Williams. Good feel.
Gay with 13, Marcus Williams with 9 assists.
Look at this, the slip. Oh, now finish it.
Take another look at this Rudy Gay bucket off the assist from Marcus Williams.
I just like how he moved, and that's the key in that particular play. If you stand still, you got your difficulties. You may get a 3-second call or a turnover, but he presented himself, availed himself beautifully.
Third foul on Jeff Adrian of UConn. Josh Boone getting ready to reappear, and Jai Lewis at the free throw line. Villanova, Florida, for the 4th and final Four spot. They'll play in Minneapolis after this one with a tip time of 5:05. And what a tournament it has been.
Magnificent. They'll lace them up, toe-to-toe.
Privilege to be a part of it.
Absolutely, and the rotation continues for Calhoun. They've got a lot of bigs to rotate. See if it does wear on the interior defense, particularly of Mason. Zone look, Vern. They've been able to dribble, drive, or flash the 3-second lane.
Right side, Rudy Gay.
Right on there. Look at that. Boy, that reminds me of Bill Bradley, how he would follow it and wave goodbye. Low ceilings in his background.
UConn by 1. Jai Lewis wants it, gets it from Butler. Back outside. Now being fronted by Armstrong.
That's right, Vern. Good defense.
We near the 8-minute mark, a 1-point UConn lead. Pump fake. Inside the arc, 2.
How good is that? Inside out, get a guy to bite, and a middle game.
Almost threw it away. Austin saves it. Tony Skinn out defending. In the background, you can periodically hear the piercing whistle of Jim Larranaga.
I feel like I'm late for dinner.
You never are.
Nice look.
Boone, put back, Rudy Gay.
So many big bodies around the rim, but Williams just dicing it up with the great southpaw delivery.
Rashad Anderson getting ready to come back on the floor. Rudy Gay, big game. 18 points, and he's hit the last 7. Following Campbell, number 42, guarded by Gay. A block.
How about this? Sticking with it in traffic.
George Mason by 1.
And one of the dilemmas for it in the zone is the check out. Well, they go man now. The checking out responsibility, you tend to be negligent.
Skinn on Austrie. Jai Lewis guarding Armstrong. There's the give to Marcus Williams. Butler late getting out. Josh Boone with an offensive board.
That play's been very effective where they put Williams on the box. They down screen. He comes over for a dribble handoff.
There's Williams guarded by Butler. Little turnaround jumper, Rudy Gay.
It's his size, Vern. I mean, he doesn't have a defender that can look him in the eye. He uses the little rub, turns, and curls, mixing it up deep and medium.
UConn by 1, 6 to go. Jai Lewis for 2.
Oh, goodness. The big body, taking no prisoners in there. Oh, nice hands.
Skinn. Armstrong gets it back. Marcus Williams. Penetrate. Clean block. Loose ball. Chase down. Skinn for George Mason. Out of the Colonial Athletic Association.
And they have represented their conference beautifully. They're just proof in this country. The balance is extraordinary. Getting a little breather right here. Lewis holding the knees down in the left corner of the screen.
Skinn.
Oh! Skinn. Oh, deep yet comfortable.
4-point lead. Improbable. But George Mason leading with 4:40 to go. And this place is in a frenzy. Williams got the nice soft roll.
He's made that right. Keeps that dribble alive, gets close enough, gets the crawler.
The Patriots of George Mason, an at-large selection by the committee. Controversial choice. Have they upheld their end of the bargain?
Oh, they have, magnificently. They're right here running clock and making shots late. That's when you know Jim, he knows they're fatigued.
Patriots lead by 2. They've called time. 3:07 to go. George Mason leading the top-seeded Huskies of UConn by 4. How have they gotten here? Look at this path. They knocked off Michigan State, out-rebounded them 40-24. They knocked off North Carolina by 5. They defeated Wichita State by 8, and they lead the UConn Huskies with 3:07 to go, up by 4.
Who would have dreamt it? Very tough-minded guys. This is usually Anderson time. He got a good, clean look the last trip.
Anderson over on the left corner. Marcus Williams gets a screen from Armstrong, the entry pass, and a foul underneath on Will Thomas.
A nice job by Armstrong, freeing Adrian.
2:51 remaining, timeout. How about this?
She knew. A premonition.
2:51 to go. George Mason, the 11th seed, over the top-seeded Huskies by 1. The Patriots have 3 timeouts left. UConn 2. Jeff Adrian is at the line. 14 points today. A 63% free throw shooter. One more.
These moments you find out leadership, who wants the ball, and obviously the play call sometimes has a wrinkle in it, as they did a slip off a screen earlier in the half.
Lead is 2, 2:51. Josh Boone back on. Jeff Adrian goes to the UConn bench. Let's set the 5 on the floor. First of all, for George Mason, following Campbell at the point, Tony Skinn, Will Thomas, Lamar Butler, and Jai Lewis, the starting 5.
The matchup, the key one, I think, on the perimeter is right here with Brown on Butler.
Rudy Gay is out on Fowler and Campbell. Marcus Williams on Tony Skinn. Boone and Hilton Armstrong are the bigs. 2.5 to go.
Nice reset. Oh, couldn't hold on to it.
10th George Mason turnover of the ball game.
That's just a little slip.
Armstrong.
A little flex screen with a duck in.
Boom, and a foul.
Nice job setting it up. You find out how to run things and execute come crunch time. Very important.
LSU knocked off Texas last night. UCLA defeated Memphis. They are in the Final Four. George Mason and UConn will settle one battle for a spot, and then Florida Villanova coming up behind us. 69-67, 2:11 to go. 3 timeouts for the Patriots, 2 for the Huskies. Team fouls are 7 and 5. Possession arrow UConn, and on the line, Josh Boone. Josh Boone, 2 for 2 today, but he is the least proficient free throw shooter on the UConn squad. For the season, 55%.
Got to be alert, particularly Lewis. Gay is on his side. He's very quick into the lane, and we know how he can elevate. They must step in front and pinch him.
0 for 2, following Campbell for George Mason, and we have 2 minutes remaining.
Solid job squeezing on the other end on the missed free throw.
Lamar Butler looks for Jai Lewis. Lewis wants it.
Now Armstrong's really moved them out. Great base.
10 on the shot clock. High screen from Jai Lewis. Tony Skinn tries to dribble. Marcus Williams back.
Doesn't
3
know.
on the shot clock.
A foul. They bail him out.
Oh,
Gay with the hand.
wow.
And he did it. He stuck the hand in. Just not a good play. Right in front of the official. Now watch Gay. See, there's the hand in to ride out. Impeding progress, and they've been calling that all year. Point of emphasis.
It's only the 6th team foul. So George Mason will inbound. The foul on Rudy Gay and a fresh 35.
More importantly. Nice play. They love that back cut when they bring Lewis out.
90 seconds to go. Here's Butler, guarded by Brown. Now Campbell, Jai Lewis, Armstrong, 1:15 remaining. Look at him muscle his way in. It won't go. What's that tip does?
I think Thomas got it. They got a palm.
He turned it over. Woo. Marcus Williams turned it over. Here's the tip first.
What a great job getting inside position. The great read. He may have gotten some help, but UConn after the palm was not ready. This is a timely timeout so they can get their defense set, Vern. They're on the rocks. They got to come up with a turnover. If he puts Anderson, they mentioned the three.
Yeah, absolutely.
He put
what do we got? We got a 4-point game, 62. Okay, let's look at first timeout. Okay, they got one left. Okay, let's look at who's on the floor and foul free throws.
Austry's in here.
Austry's in,
so
okay.
Probably pressing.
Okay.
Look at this one. This kid's still smiling. Look at him. Look at him.
71-67, 1:02 remaining. Here is the palm by Marcus Williams. Well, that was the basket by Williams. There was a turnover by Williams. It was the first UConn turnover of this half.
And an untimely one. Here's the denial there. Look at Armstrong shadowing skin. I mean, I call this a size differential, wouldn't you?
I think so.
And they're fronting.
That's a foot difference. Following Campbell being chased. Armstrong at the other end. Lamar Butler, the feed. Thomas misses point blank. Then it's blocked, and he gets it back outside. Marcus Williams has it. 50 seconds to go.
The score to go.
And one. The same thing happened against Washington when Mike Jensen fouled Marcus Williams at the end of that game.
The only difference, Verdi, went right against Washington. This time, going to the dominant hand, he cupped the ball. They almost got a piece of it from the rear. Terrific perseverance and pursuit of the tin. He doesn't look quick, but he can blow by. The little kiss rewarding the Huskies.
Fourth foul on Butler. 47.1 to go.
And they go with Brown, terrific defender. So you got three perimeter guys who can really rag the dribbler.
Marcus Williams, 21 of 22 in the tournament. Now make it 22 of 22. Entry pass, Campbell. Will Thomas had 2 point-blank shots at the basket. Missed them both.
Armstrong's had to do a great job doing his homework early, and he does. Look how far out he's forced the big fella.
11-second difference. The foul called on Armstrong.
And Armstrong's upset. They got to calm him down, or he's going to get a technical.
7th foul, we shoot 1-1.
A good piece of officiating with the warning on Armstrong right here. And they get the little nickel diamond. He is very fortunate, too. You don't want to show officials up, ever. They're coming down the stretch. You got to have great self-control. And who's coming in? The assassin, number 31, Rashad Anderson. You know what he's all about, Vern?
He hit the big three with 1.8 seconds remaining in the Washington game to put that one in overtime. Jai Lewis, 6 for 8 today.
There's something else.
He's got one more. Anderson is on the floor, and he's being guarded by Lamar Butler.
And he's been able to elevate and get shots off again. They pull the string a little.
2-point game. Shot clock off.
You got to go for the 2. Go to the rim or get a post up.
Williams. Tip. Wow. Save Butler.
They give the foul. Williams got caught. Terrific defense, pressure and release. He's stuck in the air, tried to make the bailout pass. Extraordinary footwork by George Mason.
Well, we've noted throughout this tournament that no one has enjoyed the ride more than the fifth-year senior Lamar Butler from Fort Washington, Maryland. He's got it on his back. He's at the line with 17.6 to go. One more.
Now you love your guys over 70% coming down the stretch on the free throw line.
That one is huge.
And they got a timeout. George Mason.
7.9 remaining now, a 2-point George Mason lead. UConn is out of timeouts, and among the 5 on the floor, Bill Raftery, whom do you foul?
Well, if Thomas is on the floor, he'd probably take it out.
Yep, he is, and he will.
And you can run the baseline. Lewis is deep, and this is a chance. Let's see if they play the ball. They play off the ball, and they've got the free safety in Brown. So they'll try and steal, obviously, and then the quick giveaway. Lengthen this game. They got to give it.
Skinner. Foul.
And he's waiting for the referee to blow the whistle. And wasted a second, he felt.
5.5 to go. Tony Skinn will go to the line where he is an 81% free throw shooter, and what a compelling human story. Tony Skinn lost himself with a minute to go in the Hofstra game, slugged an opponent in the groin. Jim Larranaga pulled him from the game, suspended him for the first round against Michigan State. He's back on the floor now, and he has a chance.
Oh, they got to push now.
Had a chance. Right side, Denham Brown.
Yes! Oh, my goodness! Yes! What can Brown do for you? Get to the tip. Explode. They never turned him. Here's the ricochet. The quick push and then the give up. And right here, they don't turn him back. Give up the ground. And oh my goodness, so tantalizing for both groups.
They're reviewing.
It's out of his hand, no question.
No doubt at all.
And they look at the clock first, then the light, then the horn. Wow. The presence of mind once again of Williams, Marcus to give it up, and Brown the strength to react. And look how close they are to getting a piece of that with Campbell. Oh.
Overtime is next. Jim Calhoun's team, the top seed, has gotten it into overtime.
And you can see the bigs come out, and they don't have the mobility to cover. All they had to do, Vern, was take away the sideline, baseline area, and wow. At times you wonder about UConn, are they enjoying themselves? How about the emotional strain as you watch that teeter on the rim?
And what happens to the George Mason team that appeared to have had the game won?
Well, you know, we'll fight. This team, they'll give an effort. There's no question about it. You have to admire this gritty, tough-minded bunch.
But talk about a descent from the top to the bottom. Now Williams.
And they've been running their stuff a lot better. Nice hands. Should be a jump ball or what?
Traffic.
He must have kept control of it, but they're running their stuff a little better, efficiently. UConn, that is.
Well, the 5 on the floor now for George Mason. Tony Skinn, who missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Following Campbell, Thomas, Lamar Butler, and Jai Lewis.
And this is how they make their entry pass. Butler goes down through and back up top. And Armstrong has shortened the passing lane. See how short it is? And now he's going to have to work, and they can assist.
Denham Brown looks back. They pop it outside. Entry pass, Thomas. He backs in. Beauty.
He loves that little left. They didn't take it away that trip.
At the other end, knocked out of bounds by Jai Lewis. This UConn team came from 10 down against Washington the other night. Rashad Anderson hit a three-pointer with 1.8 seconds to go to send that game into overtime, and UConn dominated 16 points to 10 in the overtime period.
And they continue the rotation. Boone coming in.
Jeff Adrian will go out. So it's Gay, Boone, Marcus Williams, Denham Brown, Hilton Armstrong for the Huskies.
And even though that was a offensive substitution, it was for defensive reasons. He's a better match on Thomas. Look how deep this is.
There's Lewis. The putback off the glass is good.
How about that substitute, huh? He's in to guard Thomas, but you can't seal him. Size wins out.
Butler finds Jai Lewis. He's still way out. Backs in, back to Butler. Pump fake. Off the glass, and good.
How tough is that? Nice little kiss. Took advantage of the angle.
Denham Brown peers inside for Boone. Now they'll work at the Rudy Gay. Denham Brown jumper off the front rim, fouled.
I talk about so much attention. You can see the seal off in the lane. Lewis permits this little delivery. Just solid basketball. A great read by the humorist, the personality of this team, Lamar Butler.
Denham Brown shoots another. Florida Villanova. They'll fill the final spot in the final four. That one coming up with a tip time of 5:05. Tied again at 78. Butler, Jai Lewis, that tip time has been snipped. Here's Lewis, and a clean block, hell ball, possession arrow, George Mason.
See, it's interesting, Boone over there to help out, and that's why Thomas has been able to get some offensive rebounds. He's there to assist if anybody turns the corner. Great job by the big guy.
Tip time has been changed to 5:09 in Minneapolis. Florida Villanova. Butler. Oh, my!
What a great out-of-bounds play. Jimmy Larranaga out of Providence. A little fryer maneuver.
Jai Lewis with the basket. Here's Marcus Williams. In the corner, Rudy Gay.
Short.
High rebound. Tip. Will Thomas with another. 12 rebounds for number 34.
They've been riding Lewis's side. It might not be bad to go to Thomas. Get him involved, see if he can do something. And then Lewis load up on the off side.
They go back to Lewis. Armstrong guards him.
Now look at him. He really just does a great job with that strong base of his.
Skin looks inside. Shot clock at 7. Now Boone on Thomas. Shot clock at 5. Jumper. Yes.
Tell you, ride that kid. Ride him. He can deliver that, Thomas.
George Mason by 4. Will Thomas has 18 points and 12 rebounds. And we are under the 2-minute mark.
Is there any question about their Valentines?
Rashad Anderson getting ready to come back for the Huskies. Baseline. Blocking foul.
Skin tried to get a little bit of a flop, try to dupe the officials, but at the other end, Vern, it continues. It's a real simple offense. They pry on one side. They end up settling. Earlier in the game when they took away the left side, the left hook, he drop step. He really does have some terrific foot moves around the 10.
Denham Brown at the line where he's shooting 2 of 2. He has hit 2 of 2. Tony Skin picks up his 4th. Ed Nelson on. Rashad Anderson will be on shortly. Nelson for Boone.
I think they're just got to match up better on the box. They're having that time they had problem with Thomas. We'll see if Nelson takes him.
Two-point game, 1:44 remaining. Following Campbell, guarded by Rudy Gay.
Little hide and seek on the post guy with Skin.
Thomas out. He's guarded by Nelson. Finds Jai Lewis. Nelson back to see if Lewis can get inside on Armstrong. He goes knocked out of bounds by Armstrong. 14 on the shot clock.
You know what's dangerous right now? Nelson is helping out, and Thomas is alone. If there is a shot, he's going to have great weak side rebounding position on the offensive glass.
Butler. Tony Skin. Following Campbell, 8 on the shot clock. Goes to his right, fade away.
He has been quiet because Gay has done a terrific job controlling him. Great reaction.
Patriots by 4. Timeout, UConn.
Well, Vern, they've had a lot of answers and not riding one guy. Little fade away by Campbell at dinner time.
We offer you nothing more than your normal Sunday afternoon television fare. 61 seconds to go, 84-83 timeouts remaining for George Mason. Look, Bill Raftery, at what they have accomplished from the field in overtime.
And you asked, would they have it in overtime?
I sure did.
You will not question them again, and the guy that lights it up at crunch time on the floor, Anderson now. What always amazes me, Vern, you know when you come in the game, you stretch your arms, you loosen it up. He just comes in, doesn't raise his arms, always ready to knock him down.
Tony Skin will guard Rashad Anderson. No, yes he will. Williams will get the inbound pass. 1 minute to go.
And they usually run their little post screens when Anderson's in the game. Here they go.
Butler on Williams. Now the switch. Jai Lewis out on him. Oh, taken away.
Jump ball.
Hell ball. Possession arrow, UConn.
Oh, that a terrific defensive sequence. They gave ground and then they recovered. Look at Lewis here. A terrific read, the help, and the sleight of hands. Oh my goodness. What a heartbreak for him and George Mason. Looked pretty good, Vern.
46.2, Anderson. Air ball. Loose ball.
They get a jump ball, they get a foul.
Jai Lewis, let's see, Scott Thornley. The foul is on Armstrong. That's his fourth. Jai Lewis will go to the line. That is the 10th team foul. Jai Lewis will shoot 2. Fourth foul, Hilton Armstrong. And for the afternoon, Jai Lewis, 7 of 10.
And Vern, one of the concerns when you got ready for this game was, could he run the floor against the bigs of UConn? They've spelled them on occasion, but well, that looked tired, that particular release. But he has held up. His stamina has been extraordinary.
At the end of regulation, Tony Skin missed the front end of a 1-and-1. That would have given George Mason a 4-point lead. Lewis gets 1 of 2. It is a 5-point lead. George Mason will use a timeout. They have 2 remaining. 85-80, Patriots. Whew. Okay. Yep, got it.
This is just incredible, isn't it? Never underestimate anybody.
Is the son on the cell phone?
He should call him.
No, okay.
He probably can't watch.
Yeah.
I bet he's down by the bench someplace at this point, you know?
Both double bonus. No, don't worry. $85-80 with 41 seconds to go. George Mason with 2 timeouts remaining. UConn none. Both teams in the double bonus, and the possession arrow heads toward the green and gold. Jim Larranaga, head coach. Last substitution for his team came with 10:37 left. He's 56 years old. Is he enjoying this? Jim Calhoun, for the 6th time, has won 30 games in a season at UConn. He doesn't seem to be enjoying it quite as much at the current time. But a Hall of Famer, 2 NCAA championships, his team down by 5 with 41 to go. It's Adrian, Williams, Hilton Armstrong, Denham Brown, and Rudy Gay.
And Gay's got a size advantage. Let's see if they get it to him.
Spin move. No, it won't fall this time, and a foul underneath.
And Adrian as a substitute, what a great move, because you know he's going to be active on the glass. Got inside position, and he'll get an opportunity to shoot.
Thomas's 4th foul. Adrian at the line. For the season, a 64% free throw shooter. He's 2 of 2 this afternoon. Today's Chevrolet players of the game: Will Thomas, 18 and 12 for the George Mason Patriots, and Rudy Gay, 20 and 6 for the UConn Huskies. Adrian shoots one more.
Now they go a little bit smaller. They bring Austria in, a lot more pressure. They got to be ready too with their pressure and the contact.
4-point game, 28.5 to go. Skin will inbound.
Automatic switch.
Jai Lewis threw it. Oh, boy.
He got fouled. He got fouled.
Yes, he did. Marcus Williams.
Good call. He grabbed him and took him down. And how about Thomas presenting himself first? Very alert on that cut.
Thomas is the least proficient free throw shooter on the floor for George Mason. He is 2 of 2 today.
And there's no question about this. Almost a steal, but look at the effort just to come up with it, and the grab from the rear by Marcus.
Will Thomas, who played 7 games in high school against Rudy Gay. His team won all 7.
It's his day.
He's trying to make it 8 in a row, and the first is a collegian. From Baltimore, Will Thomas shoots one more. Five-point game with 23 to go.
Anderson in.
Williams, Rashad Anderson guarded by Skin. Here's Brown, off the mark, long rebound.
Let's see which way they go.
UConn ball. Florida Villanova coming up next. That'll be the final piece of the mosaic as to who goes to Indianapolis. 86-81 with 13.6. Williams for 3. Yes!
Can't relax on them. They got to be ready. Right there. Let's see, they got a timeout back here.
They did.
They got a timeout. And I don't know why they would even let the seconds go if you're UConn. Give it.
7.1 remaining. George Mason will inbound the ball, leading by 2 with 7.1 to go. They still do have one timeout remaining. Both teams in the double bonus. And again, that possession arrow favoring the Patriots. Let's check those on the floor now. Denham Brown, Rashad Anderson, Marcus Williams, Rudy Gay, and Hilton Armstrong for UConn.
And you know, the key thing is where they take it out. If it's that deep corner, it's a very tough spot. You can really jam up. You get a good angle on a steal.
Lamar Butler getting ready to take it out. And they're going to reset the clock. Scott Thornley over to check, and we're told 7.3 seconds. Well, it still shows 7.1.
You got it now, Brett.
Now it does, 7.3. So Butler will inbound with 7.3 remaining.
Everybody matched up, nobody on the inbounder.
It's Fowler and Campbell, I beg your pardon. Here's Jai Lewis.
And he knew it was coming.
Yep.
And, you know, in a sense, pretty good defense, because the only 2 guys that We talked about Thomas's ability or occasionally inability to make free throws. The next nearest guy to his 52 is 65%, Jai Lewis. Anderson on the floor. You got to be ready and have thought this out if you're George Mason. What are we going to do on a miss? How are we going to play them? Depending on how many he makes, will we give one?
8 of 13, leaving alive the possibility of a Rashad Anderson 3. And he and Tony Skinn are back here having fun with each other.
And also, Vern, you got to think it out. Will you give one and not give him the chance to make the 3 if he makes this one?
Rebound, UConn. Denham Brown, 3 to go. Denham Brown for 3. No good! By George, the dream is alive. A 2-point George Mason victory.
And Bert, what they did, they played Anderson tough. They made Williams not receive the basketball. Great challenge on the jump shot. And it is extraordinary what these tough-minded competitors have been able to do.